Friday edition of the Call Up. And I feel like for Friday episodes, Jack, we got to do something a little bit more fun, a little bit more whimsical. And today we're going to be talking about underrated prospects. There's just something about the word underrated that's like fun, exciting, and intriguing. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
If talking underrated prospects is the fun and whimsical thing that we do, I feel like maybe we picked the wrong profession. I'm not sure.
But so you don't agree with what I'm saying?
No, I do agree with you because like it's more fun than I know a lot of people's desk jobs are. But, you know, I feel like it's go out, have a good Friday night. But instead, we're sitting here like, you know what? I'm going to let loose today with some fun and whimsical stuff. Underrated prospects.
That sounds great to me. It's a beautiful day in New York City. I know a lot of people are out and about. My cousin is in town, but I told him I'll catch you later. I got to talk about underrated prospects. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And I'm excited because we're hitting that point now, still early, still small sample sizes, but we're getting to the point where the sample sizes are holding a little bit more weight. But this is also a carryover from last year, which is great, is that after last year, it was so tough with the small sample sizes through the first month of the season because you had nothing to go off of from 2020. Now we can see how guys finished the year last year and see if it spilled over into this year. You also have spring training to work with as well. And, you know, everyone has their own story. And that's what we're going to kind of jump into here is each of the breakout prospects. Most of the guys that we listed, we handpicked as guys that we are sold on for the most part, but I think there's varying degrees of what sold means based on their performance. So we're going to get into it from hitters in the forefront, and then we're going to do pitchers on the back end. And, you know, I wanted to start with, and again, we could talk about Matt Mervis because he just got the bump up from AA, and that was a really fun interview last week, or not even last week. Geez, time is like in a standstill right now. On Wednesday's episode with Matt Mervis, he was awesome and really insightful, undrafted guy that is mashing, just got called up to AA right after the episode, which was so cool to hear that right after 2 hits yesterday in his AA game, Jack. So Matt Mervis continues to hit. That's an underrated guy, but one of his teammates from Katuitt in the Cape League that I got to see a lot of last year, he's going to be a guest on the podcast next week. And that's not why I'm mentioning him, though. I'm mentioning him because he is raking. Casey Schmidt. He has been unbelievable. Third base prospect in the in the San Francisco Giants organization. And I mean, this guy, I really believe, and I sent you a whole little montage just now on his defensive plays at third base as of late. I really do. And I'm not even trying to be hyperbolic. I think he is the best defensive third baseman in the minor leagues. That goes back to the Cape League. I talked to Mike Roberts, his coach there, who's, you know, one of the Rovers in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. He's been around for a long time. He said one of the best defensive third basemen he's seen at that level. And I think a lot of it backs it up. I have a video on Twitter right now, but oh, by the way, Jack, he's hitting 326, 408, 607 so far this year for none other than the Eugene Emeralds.
Yep, he is the unsung hero of the Eugene Emeralds. And wouldn't you know, Casey Schmidt is one of the guys that has an OPS over 1,000. I feel like, you know, at the minimum, you have to be like a 900, 950 OPS guy to be considered an underrated breakout guy a month and a half into the minor league season at the moment. And Schmidt fits the criteria there. You sent me that video right before we got going and you said, watch this. And I was just thrown because, you know, it's all the plays that everybody wants to make, but so few people can make. And he can make all of them and he can make all of them look easy. But again, this guy's hitting 326 with an OPS over 1,000, 29 games, 89 at bats. I mean, this guy's only punched out 23 times, 12 walks, and he's got 7 bombs already. If he can provide any offensive value, the glove is going to carry him to Major League Baseball.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And it's funny. You asked me off the air the other day, you know, when you were in Katuitt, what guys did you chat up a little bit, you know, and which guys were really friendly? You know, some go about their business. Doesn't mean they're not friendly. They're just more locked in. But which do you kind of socialize before the game, talk to you? I totally, it slipped my mind. Casey Schmidt was probably one of the funniest guys on the team. He's very loose, but at the same time, when he gets on the mound or in the field, he is super, super locked in. And I love that balance. Everyone on the team would have told you he's one of the funniest guys out there, but he was also the closer for Katuitt. He was the closer for San Diego State. And initially it was thought that he would be a two-way guy. He had a mid-90s fastball and a nasty splitter. But ultimately the Giants said, hey, let's focus on just playing third base and hitting. And that arm, though, you can see it at the hot corner when he's making all these crazy throws on the run across his body, either any kind of difficult arm slot, he does it. And now the power is starting to tick into his game as well.
Yeah. And just a reminder that when a guy is a two-way guy and you're thinking of pigeonholing him into one, almost always you're going to pitch because everybody needs more pitchers. You might have some depth at third base that you don't have to worry about, but they decided, hey, the bat and the glove are so good. Let's have you do that. You have to be an exceptional hitter to go strictly to hitting. Look at Brendan Mckay. Brendan Mckay was one of the best hitters in the country when he was at Louisville and he won the Golden Spikes, but Tampa
pitch.
Yeah, Tampa has pigeonholed him into being a pitcher. That's just how that worked with him. But Casey Schmidt went the other way.
And I mean, it's been working out, right? And this is something we've talked about with Alec Burleson, two-way guy in college that really, I bring him up a lot because it's one of my favorite examples of just focusing on hitting and how it allows you to work out in the right way and build your body differently. Matt Mervis said the same thing. He's like, just the fact that I don't have to worry about arm care because Mervis was a two-way guy in the Cape and a two-way guy at Duke. The fact that I don't have to worry about doing arm care and bands and I can spend all that time doing more things that are focused towards hitting and mobility. It just changes everything. And I'd imagine that that's the same thing for Casey Schmidt. And I mean, we've seen across the board improvement for him. A little bit more strikeouts, but that's what comes with more power. The strikeouts are still in check at 22%. He's walking 4% more frequently, and he's nearly matched his home run total from last year in just 29 games. He has 7 home runs. He had 8 home runs in 64 games last year. You had an awesome comp earlier before we started recording, which I actually really like because I think Schmidt has sneaky power. I think there's more in there, but it's probably closer to 50 to 55 raw and probably 45 to 50 game. And that's on the high end. You said Santiago Espinol, who is one of the best defensive third basemen in baseball. He's starting to swing it really well. He's got sneaky gap to gap power. We'll put it over the wall from time to time, but is just so good defensively at third. And I really like that comp for Casey Schmidt. I think that's a really good one. So that would be a really great outcome. I think if you're a Giants fan, I think you'd be thrilled with a Santiago Espinol type of outcome.
I think everybody wants a Santiago Espinol right now because with Biggio, I mean, he hasn't been around, right? So Espinol has been that pleasant surprise where, okay, he's going to provide some defensive versatility. It'll be good. And then all of a sudden he's on this crazy on base streak and he's hitting the ball and he's spraying it all over the field. And it's like, oh, wow, this guy can actually be a piece of the Blue Jays moving forward. He can play really good defense at 3 spots. I don't know if Casey Schmidt can play really good defense at 3 spots. Could he?
I think he could if they really wanted him to. He's so good at third and his arm's so good that I'm not sure if they really want him to necessarily, but I think he's capable of doing so. Because if you look at the clip I tweeted, that one specifically, because it's like this wide view from above home plate, he makes the play. And by the time he makes the throw, he's about like 2 steps from second base. Yeah. Like if you're a shortstop, you got to feel pretty comfortable. He really takes care of any concern about the shortstop being able to go in the hole, because he will take care of that for you. He's got some crazy range.
Yeah, 100%. And, with Espinal, it's like the bat. What's nice about him is the bat to ball is there too. And that's what you see with Casey Schmidt, right? You mentioned that the strikeouts have ticked up a little bit. He's punched out 23 times in 29 games. I'll take that 11 times out of 10.
Especially when you're walking more too and hitting for more power. So very much looking forward to the conversation with Casey Schmidt next week. I think you all will enjoy that as well. And not just plugging him because he's coming on the show. I think when he got an over 1,000 OPS and elite defense, very exciting to see what he's doing over there. Another player that has taken that big leap this year offensively, and a guy that just got promoted to AAA. It was broken by our own Ethan Badowski, who broke that news that Gerard and Carnacion would be promoted from double to AAA after really putting together an unbelievable stretch, Jack. And I'll be honest, I mean, we all knew what Gerard and Carnacion was capable of. We saw flashes of it when we talked about the Florida State League in the past and how it used to be a graveyard, and it still is, but it's just not the same league. But how for high A, it was a graveyard for hitters. He transcended that graveyard. He crushed baseballs at that level, but then really just struggled over the last year and a half, did not really make enough contact, struck out 38% of the time in AA last year. That did not seem to spill over into this season. And through 31 games this year, almost matched his home run total with 8 homers. He upped his walk rate marginally, but cut his K rate by 13% and was hitting 358, 426, 583. Jack, he hit a home run 482 feet. And I talked to some of his teammates. They were saying he'll take one-armed lunging swings that go 400 feet. When I hear that, look, I have questions about the bat to ball overall at the highest level, but he's kind of answering those. He's off to a blazing start, already 2 home runs in 3 games in AAA. I think we got to start taking this guy seriously.
Yeah, no, you mentioned that he almost passed his home run total from a year ago.
Now he did.
Now he did. Yeah, with 2 bombs in 3 games. You see him and you see superhuman strength. Mm-hmm. You see this guy that looks like he has been in the weight room since he was in the womb. Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of guy that Gerard and Carnacion is. I always thought it was Gerard, so I was calling him Gerard. So I gotta scrub that from my mind. It's Gerard and Carnacion.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think this guy, with Bleday struggling in AAA and with the big league outfielders struggling at the big league level, I think this guy should get an opportunity sooner rather than later.
Which is crazy to say, man, because if you told me that before the year, like, oh, we'll be talking about Gerard and Carnacion as a potential call up by May, not being called up in May, but just having the conversation about it in May is nuts. But I'm with you, man. And it's like he hasn't blinked in AAA either. We'll see how it goes as we get a larger sample size. But what really impresses me is the improvement in contact rate and the improvement with his overall approach. If he keeps the strikeout rate anywhere under 30%, which is where it's at right now at 25%, he's in business because he is going to hit the ball so hard. He's going to have so much quality of contact in the slugging department that you're going to be just fine if you're Encarnacion. So I really like what we've seen from him. I don't think there's much to not like. And when you're hitting 115 mile per hour home runs over 480 feet, I think you can really dream on the power potential there. The defense is bad. It really is bad. Yeah. He has a cannon for an arm, but he's brutal out there. So I don't know, if it would be a DH situation, if Garrett Cooper, inevitably gets hurt, what the situation would be. But he's got it. The Marlins need offense and he could provide it. And he has been just dynamite this year. If he keeps hitting in AAA, I think he's going to force his way up there, which is pretty exciting. He's already on the 40-man, which is an important detail as well.
Yeah. And he can't hide in the outfield. He's 6'4", 250. So he's not mobile. I don't know where he plays defensively. Is it right? But he can't move.
It's right because he has a rocket arm, but he can't move. He can't move. So that's the problem. He's probably a DH/first baseman type, most likely. But I mean, look, if he's hitting and he played 21 games so far in AA in right field, and if he's hitting, you justify it because the Marlins need the offense way too badly. So I'm here for it. Excited to see him hitting in AAA. His first home run, by the way, it was a pitch up at his shoulders that he hit the other way for a home run. And I'm just like,
no way.
Yeah. Opposite field, elevated at his shoulders. I think I never reply to team tweets. I never do it, but the Jumbo Shrimp tweeted it. And I just knee jerk was just like, what a swing. Cause I just reply. And again, I just the auto generated random reply that is almost useless, but I was just like, what a swing. I just had to reply because it was it was just so freakish, as you put it. So very excited about what he's doing and a big development for the Marlins who don't develop offense very well. So very good to see that from Gerard Encarnacion. Another toolsy freak that has been really good this year by the way of the San Diego Padres organization is Yosoi Ruiz. And I gave him a little bit of a shout out an episode ago when we were just talking about, cards that could be worth investing in, some guys that have been off to hot starts. And Yosoi Ruiz has been freaking crazy, man. And I would love to hear what you're thinking so far, because it has been bizarre how good he has been in the best way possible. He came off a year last year, Jack, where at the AA level, 84 games, 249, 328, 411. Look, that's not bad by any means. It's rather average. 98 WRC plus would reflect that. Stole 36 bags. He's a blazer. He also hit 10 home runs. So far this season, Jack, cut the K rate down, doubled the walk rate. He's hitting 351, 497 on base percentage, 588 slugging percentage. Probably not going to sustain that. But the fact that he's getting on base the way he is, 24 bags already in 36 games, is actually hilarious. And he has 5 home runs as well. What impresses me about Esteury Ruiz is that he actually has a little bit of this power speed combination. 70 grade runner, but he's capable of above average power, which we're starting to see. But it's not selling out for it. It's gap to gap that turns into, home runs over the wall. This guy might have figured it out. I need to see a little bit more, but he's got my attention.
So he's halfway to his homer total from last year. Again, 84 games in AA last year, 36 so far this year, the same level, AA San Antonio. So he's got 5 homers in 36 games, a little less than half, and then 10 homers in 84 games in 2021. Doubles, though. Esteury Ruiz, with a couple of nice nights, can match his doubles total less than halfway to the amount of games that he played in 2021. So he's hitting doubles more, and I'm with you. He's got power in different ways. He could hit 10 to 15 at the big league level. I'd say probably closer to 10. But if he hits you 25 doubles and swipes 35 bags, 40 bags, that's a power speed combo that you love. And he can, fit somewhere in the field. But you mentioned that strikeout rate dropping and the walk rate doubling.
What else do you
ridiculous.
Want? What else do you want?
Dude, yeah. 28 walks, 73 punch outs in 84 games last year, 27 walks, 31 punch outs in 36 games this year.
I mean, what else would you want to see from a young hitter? He's still only 23. And it was funny because Fangraphs just came out with their updated, prospect rankings for the Padres. And there were some surprises in there. I was expecting Ruiz to have a little bit more helium with Fangraphs. I think they maybe finalized that list earlier in the season. I would like to see where his prospect ranking starts to trend as we start to see the updates across the league, because I'm looking at Ruiz as a guy that by the midseason update, I'm considering top 100 conversation here for Ruiz in terms of just, if he's doing all of these things, Jack, how can I not justify having him, on the top 100 list, or at least, in the conversation? And a couple episodes ago, we broke down breakout hitting prospects. For this is more underrated, and the two can overlap. And this is one of the only guys that's going to overlap in this context here. And I think he's overlapping because the tools are off the charts, which is what's really making him underrated for me. The breakout is because he's finally found a way to, hone in on these tools. He made a slight adjustment to his swing to get more athletic, use his lower half a bit more. And what I love, Jack, is it's so simple from him. Not much of a leg kick. The only difference was he really just got more into his legs, and he already just loads back, very quiet toe tap, and explodes. It's all athleticism in the box. We've seen 109 mile an hour exit velos. And again, 24 for 28 on stolen bases. There's a similar almost, I'm not saying he's quite going to have this type of ability, but there's a similar type of production to Starling Marte, which is like the 40 stolen bases and will sprinkle in 15 home runs. I don't think he's going to give you the defense. Still trying to figure out what his position is going to be. He's more of a super utility guy. But how many guys are stealing 40 bags and throwing in 15 plus home runs? Where are you seeing that?
Marte is stronger.
I agree, but it doesn't really show up in the power department.
Yeah, I think it shows up in a lot of other places. Defense, I think the strength of Starling Marte actually shows up defensively.
Oh, no, his defense is way better. I'm saying pure offensive statistics.
Yeah,
who else is putting up those lines? Like, how do you compare that?
I don't think anybody. That's the thing. And like, speed has always been around for him. Speed will always be around for him. I mean, when he was in Fort Wayne and Low A in 2018, guy swiped 49 bags. That's dumb. That's dumb. So he's one of the fastest guys in minor league baseball. And among the fastest guys in minor league baseball, he's the only one that has that kind of power. Like David Hamilton, who came over in the Renfroe trade. David Hamilton is one of the fastest guys in minor league baseball. He's got Zippo power. He's got nothing.
I would love to like pull it up in terms of just, how many guys are stealing that many bags and putting up 105 plus exit velos. It's extremely rare. It's extremely rare. So I don't think he has the physical gifts that Marte has, but the combination of stolen base ability and power, if we're talking about fantasy perspective, this could be a guy that will be very popular. And if you're in dynasty leagues, because I know there's some dynasty league people that like to listen to this podcast, I would look at scooping him up, because when you're doubling up your walk rate, you've cut the chase rate down by that much. The zone contact is up. The ground ball rate is down. The line drives are just sprayed all over. He's very interesting, Jack. And if he keeps doing this at the AA level, definitely worth considering in the top 100 update, right? I don't think that's crazy to say.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I just went on a little dive on stolen base leaders in minor league baseball right now and what their power numbers are. Max Ferguson is the stolen base leader in all of minor league baseball at the moment. He's low A for Lake Elsinore. So same system, the Padres system. He's hitting a $191, but this guy has 40 walks in 32 games, 40 walks, 33 punch outs, and he's 29 for 32 on the bags. He's got no home runs so far though. And then let's see, Sasaki. Who is Shane Sasaki?
Not a clue.
He's in the Tampa system. Sasaki is 25 for 25 in stolen bases. Again, 0 home runs so far. And then there's one more guy ahead of him, Yosoi Garcia, who is, oh my God, who is this guy? The Clearwater Threshers. Who is that an affiliate of? Do we even know?
Clearwater. I don't know.
Oh my God. Well, this cat, what was his name?
So here's the point.
Fucking out on me.
Here's the point. Like, there's not many guys, and it's the Phillies, by the way. I actually knew that. Damn. There's not many guys that are notable that are putting up these kind of stolen base numbers while also actually hitting.
Yeah. That's the point.
That's the point. And point received. Next up is Colt Keith, who, this is a guy that I think in Tiger circles is probably not underrated. I know, Tiger fans do a great job of keeping up with their system. It's one of my favorite things. I think Cubs fans and Tigers fans are some of the best in baseball when it comes to being knowledgeable of the prospects that you have. And, some of that is because of the fact that they've been so bad for so long in a lot of occasions. But Colt Keith is really, really good. And it was a little bit of a rough debut in high A for him last year, but he was great in low A. And remember, this was a high school guy who's still 20 years old. So he was 19 years old, got a taste of high A. I think it was great that he got that taste last year, but it was a very bitter taste for him where he hit just 162, 250, 250, which is not good. But then this year really got back into it and looks phenomenal. 314, 371, 518 slash line. 8.6% walk rate, 20.5% K rate, 4 home runs, and 22 driven in. I really like this guy because it's doubles again that sneak out. I think there's above average potential power, but I love the hit tool. I think there's a potential plus hit tool there, a really good feel to hit, a really good ability to use the whole field, and a lot of polish for a high school guy that, is gone pretty quickly now up to high A. And to adjust after what was a very rough debut, I think says a lot about him. I love his swing. I love his moves. He seems to know himself really well as a hitter. And I think there's a lot more power projection here for a guy that's 6'3", 210 pounds at just 20 years old.
Yeah. I mean, this guy he's an extra base hit machine right now. 18 extra base hits in 33 games. And just looking at the Midwest League leaders in extra base hits at the moment, Alex Mcgarry is like 26 years old. He was an Oregon State guy. He's in the red system now. Eddie Leonard, who I know that we both like in the Dodgers system, he is ripping the ball left and right. He's got 19 extra base hits. And then Wenzel Perez, also in the Tigers system, has 19 extra base hits. And then it's Colt Keith. So this guy is slapping the ball. You mentioned the doubles. That's big, but he's got 4 bombs in 33 games.
And there's more. And there's more coming. Like, those doubles will turn into home runs. Again, he's big. He's got a big frame, but I think what I like about him is he's not trying to do too much. He knows. And remember when we talked to Hassel's like, yeah, I could try to sell out a little bit more basically, but I'm going for the doubles. That's what I can control more. And I know that as I've built out physically, as I continue to grow and mature, more of those doubles will just naturally turn into home runs. I haven't spoken to Colt Keith, but that's what his approach tells me. And that's what when I see his ABs, that's what that tells me. And you know what? It's already starting to happen a little bit. And this guy's really talented. The Tigers have a good one here. I think he was a great pick. I'm trying to remember when exactly they selected him. Do you have it in front of you? Actually, now I have it in front of me. He was a 5th round pick over slot guy in 2020. But I'm a big fan of his, and I think he could be a really, really good piece for them, putting up good numbers at just 20 years old.
Yeah, and he's got a good jawline too. Zanesville, Ohio guy. Went to high school in Biloxi, Mississippi. Catch us in Biloxi next week.
Ooh, we'll be there very soon. Can't wait. Going to be really fun to have a lot of content for you guys out from there. A lot of player interviews coming up there next week, and a lot of firsthand accounts of prospects that we'll be looking at. So I cannot wait to get that done. But let's move on to the pitchers now, right? I don't know if there's any other hitters we really want to mention. We're going to go into some of the like investment eBay side of things at the end. But I don't know if I have any more hitters we really need to get into. Is there anyone else that in passing maybe you'd want to mention, Jack?
Yeah. Two guys that I'm watching every day. Mason Martin is one of them, and Cal Mitchell is another one of them. And they're two top 30 prospects for the Pirates, but they're on the back half of that top 30 at the moment. Mason Martin is a physical specimen. I mean, that guy takes better care of his body than anybody that I've ever seen. And just seeing him with like shorts on around the cage in BP, I'm like, wow, your calves are popping more than any first baseman should. So he's a physical specimen that hits the shit out of the ball. And the strikeout numbers were massive for him. I think it was like 37, 38% K rate last year. He's down to 31% right now. And he's among the International League leaders in extra base hits. And then Cal Mitchell has a very, very solid swing. And this guy's filled out more and more as the years have progressed since he was drafted out of high school. So Mitchell was that high round pick that was slowly but surely making his way through the system. It wasn't a big splash, but I mean, Cal Mitchell, he's swinging a really good bat right now. And I think he's over 300.
I mean, both those guys, I think, have really changed their outlook. And even though people say, oh, yeah, Martin strike out 31%, if he keeps it there, and the big question is, would that stay there at the big league level? Some guys, they're 31% at every stop. Like that was what Joey Gallo was. It didn't, he was 34 in AA, but he was 34 in the big leagues once he got acclimated. And that was okay for him. I think Mitchell or not Mitchell, excuse me. Martin is someone that could keep it in the 30% range. And if he can do that, his slugging on contact is so stupid. He's already hit a home run 118 miles an hour this year, which is hilarious. The power is off the charts. So he's another small tweak away, but he seems like he's inching in the right direction. And I think people forget, and Mason Martin's not some 26-year-old guy with a ton of power.
22.
He's young. So he could use a whole year. He doesn't need to be up there anytime soon. Spend the whole season there. He could repeat in AAA. I think they'll call him up this year, but theoretically he could repeat in AAA, and he's still young for the level. He has plenty of time to work through it and continue to get better with the bat to ball. And look, he's heading in the right direction. I think that's incredibly encouraging. You can't just turn into a bat to ball guy overnight, but with the quality of contact that he's able to produce, I think it's extremely encouraging.
Yeah, no, I think he's been phenomenal. And then Cal Mitchell, the other guy, I really like how simple the swing is with him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Cal Mitchell, that's a high floor guy that I think will find a way on a big league roster for a while. And I'm glad you got to see a good amount of him this year. He'll probably be one of the next guys to get called up, you think, right?
Yeah, I would assume him, Kanan Smith, and Jigba is probably pretty close. And then I guess O'Neal Cruz would be the guy after that.
Before we get to pitchers, I realize there's probably something we should talk about. Nolan Gorman, Matthew Liberatore called up. And I'm like, oh, we didn't even talk about this. And it's a big deal. So, I mean, we don't need to spend too much time on it. But, because we've talked about it a lot in the past. I think people that listen to the podcast kind of know where I lie on the Nolan Gorman thing. Like, I think in certain spots, he can give them a ton of power. And, that might be all they want right now. Put him against righties, put him in the right situations, see how he does. Libertor, on the other hand, has looked really good this year, Jack. I think that the thought that Matthew Libertor would ever be this ace, that ship kind of sailed when I think the Rays said, hey, we're okay trading you at this early in your career. I don't think that was the Rays saying you're not going to pan out. That's the Rays saying we don't see an ace here. We see a middle to back end of the rotation guy. I think even the Cardinals might have known that and were happy to acquire that because that's still extremely valuable. And as we're seeing for the Cardinals right now, they're getting a 22-year-old who is probably going to give them quality starts. And, even if he's a low 4 ERA guy as a lefty in the back end of your rotation, it's extremely valuable, especially for a team like the Cardinals. I really like what we've seen from Libertor so far this year. Strikeout rate at an all-time high. ERA consistently strong. Command looks better. I think he could give them some good outings. Gorman, I'm not as excited about at the big league level to be able to help them now. Again, down the line, Think Gorman could be great. Another guy that's very young at the AAA level.
Yeah. So I talked about it on the Just Baseball show a couple days ago. That might've been earlier this week. And you texted me after I said it. I said, it's time that Nolan Gorman got a shot. And you said, why? Like, he might get blown out by Velo.
I believe I called you a bozo, I think is what
you did. You called me a bozo because it's like, he's going to get blown out by Velo. And I said, yes, but here's the deal, man. He's absolutely shredding through AAA right now. And the Cardinals have this glaring hole right now. DeYoung was optioned down and Edmundo Sosa was the shortstop. Tommy Edman's going to play short. Nolan Gorman's going to play second. I think that's how this shit should work. And I think that's how it's going to work. And if Gorman gets blown up, then it's a la Kelnick and Gorman goes down and Sosa is the shortstop again. And Tommy Edman goes right back to second base. But I think for the meantime, until Nolan Gorman proves that he can't hit big league pitching yet, he's got to be the second baseman and Tommy Edman has to be the shortstop.
So you don't think a 34% K rate in AAA is enough to kind of like deter that promotion?
Listen, I do, but I'm not John Mozeliak. And I'm also, like we can look at the 34% K rate in a vacuum, but you also have to look at Nolan Gorman, the 34% K rate, but what he's doing in the power department at AAA.
It's phenomenal. I have to say, I mean, it's unbelievable.
But you also have to look at that compared to the guys above him, DeYoung and Sosa. If they suck, you got to give the guy that sucks the least a shot.
Yeah.
If you want to win now.
That's fair. And I think in this situation they're in, that's very fair. And I guess, you know what, if he hits you 220, but he gives you 20 pumps, I think you got to
be okay with that mentally affecting him, though. You got to be okay with him, saying, damn, why am I striking out all the time? You have to have the maturity on that coaching staff. And I think Ali Marmol is a mature enough manager already to walk up to him and say, hey, you're going to strike out a lot up here because pitching is better up here than it is in AAA where you were. We need you to hit some home runs, play fine defense, and help us win games.
See, I agree. I'm worried that you're almost fostering a 3 true outcome, player here who doesn't need to be fostered into that just yet. He's 22. He has a lot of, potential. And here's the other thing, 174 against lefties. He shouldn't face a lefty once while he's up there. If that's the case, if you shelter him from lefties, K rate against righties is a little bit lower, closer to 30%. So maybe that will be the way to kind of keep him safe, so to speak, and set him up for success a little bit more. Is just shelter him from all those lefties, which I'm sure they will do. And then also, just put him in the right spots against righties. Don't put him out there against Max Scherzer, who's obviously on the shelf right now. But point being, don't put him out there against the guys that are just lights out top end velo dudes. You could shelter him in the right spots and you're still getting a big time power bat.
So how about this? How about you go Gorman at second, Edman at short against righties, against lefties, Sosa at short, Edman at second?
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. And again, Liberatore could be a big boost for this team, though. If we're talking about, Steven Matz with an 8 ERA, getting even a low 4s, even a mid 4s, I think would be great for them. And Liberatore is going to get better and better. Another guy that's extremely young who has climbed quickly. I think that the ceiling is a number 3. But man, they could use all the number 3s they could get right now. So I like
you got to get a little bit of quality, but you're looking for a whole lot of quantity right now for the Cardinals. And if you're not going to do it via trade, you got to do it from the system.
And that's the guy to promote. So I love it. I think Alec Burleson might not be too far behind if they need another bat. But obviously the outfield is pretty taken care of for the time being, but I do love Alec Burleson. Second shout out already on this episode. We'll move to the pitching side of things. And I want to start with someone that's probably the least quote unquote underrated, starting to get a ton of hype. But I think we talk about our top 100 list and where we rank guys versus the industry. I don't know if anybody else in the industry, I might be wrong, had Brian Bello coming into the year as a top 100 prospect. I might be wrong. Maybe a prospectus had him, maybe, but no one had him. Okay.
Nope.
I want to take our victory lap right now, Jack. Like I want to take our victory lap on Brian Bello because there was a lot of detractors from what he had done last year in terms of, I saw a lot of people saying, oh, the fastball's not good enough. Fastball's not good enough. And I just put out a piece on justbaseball.com. I'll link that in the description here about what Brian Bello has done to take his game to the next level. But he was already great last year. He was phenomenal last year. Just the ERA didn't totally reflect that at the AA level. 4.66 in AA, but a 3.12 FIP. And in high A, 2.27 ERA, 2.82 FIP. Struck out more than 12 and a half batters per nine, or close to 12 and a half batters per nine. And the walk rate was a little bit iffy, but at times looked strong. So far this year, he is striking out guys in bunches. The walk rate is improving. But what stands out the most to me is four-seam fastball was a bit flat shape-wise, even though it's in the upper 90s. You know what he does, Jack? He adds a sinker. So now he has a sinker that he goes to that basically is an escape route, as I put in the piece. Like, it's his escape route from hitters counts. It's his escape route from jams. So whenever it's a 2-0 count, he can run this 96, 98 mile an hour sinker in on the hands of righties, get weak contact, or dive it away from lefties and get a chopper or a wave and a miss. Ground ball rate is up almost 15%. And as a result, we're seeing him great across the board. Changeup is a 70 pitch potentially. I think right now it's inconsistent with his feel for it, but has the chance to be that. It's a plus offering, no doubt about it. And the slider has turned into a fringe plus pitch. This guy's a top 100 prospect, and he already is for us. I think he's going to be top 75, top 60, and might help the Red Sox this year.
Another thing that I want to say, he can go deep in games.
Yes.
As a 23-year-old with good stuff, he can go deep in games. We saw him throw, a 7-inning no-hitter in Portland. So then here we go. Brian Bale gets the promotion to AAA Worcester. And in his AAA debut, he went 6 innings of 2-run ball. He struck out 10. He walked 1. In AAA as a 23-year-old arm, this guy can go deep in games.
And please check out that piece, because I really had a fun time with that. Now that I can use Giphy Cat, I have the gifs of each pitch, break down what works. But I mean, Jack, you're a guy that loves the art of pitching, and I love having these conversations with you. And I mean, the nuance to this is pretty simple. He had fastball that was hittable last year, and a really good changeup and a really good slider that improved. And that's how he rode to success. But if he didn't have the feel for the secondaries, he fell behind and he has to lean on the fastball. It was getting pulverized. Now he has 2 different looks that he can give you with the fastball. So having that sinker / 2-seamer to fall back on and also give another look, 2-0 count. What are you sitting on, Jack, if you're a lefty? Fastball, but it could be a 2-seamer running away from you or a sinker running away from you, or a 4-seamer up. You've got 2 different things you got to worry about. Also, the changeup, that's fading away. 4-seamer up, 2-seamer down, slider breaking in on you if you're a lefty. Like, there's so many different looks he can give you. Just adding that sinker, I think, gives him just this totally different look and makes hitters way more in their head up there.
There are a lot of guys that just have 2 different looks. And when you see hard, you know where it's going. When you see softer, you know where it's going. Robbie Ray is a victim of that right now. Robbie Ray, you're getting a fastball that is straight or a slider that is moving in the same shape that every other slider moves in. With Bale, what he's doing is he's got 3 different looks of hard, which is insane. So you've got hard that sails up, you've got hard that dives down, and you've got hard that runs away. Then you have a changeup that dives. You've got 3 looks of hard, 2 looks of soft, a great changeup, and a slider here. I mean, it's so hard to stay on balance. And then you start playing the guessing game, and you just can't do that.
You can't do it. And before, it was like, okay, it's either breaking downwards or it's a fastball up. So when you're in the hitter's count, you're just looking up. And now that's not the case anymore. There's shades. He's 23 years old, like you said, going deep into games now because he can pitch to contact and now getting ground balls. Very rare to find high ground ball guys, high K guys. And when you pull that type of data, guys that get that kind of, batted ball data against them on top of the swing and miss, it's a bit reminiscent of Luis Castillo.
Yes.
And Castillo was an overlooked guy as well. So, I don't think that that's a crazy ceiling to throw on him at this point. And I think he could help the Red Sox this year.
No, it's also probably a lower ceiling than you should slap Brian Bale with, because I think he can be better than Luis Castillo.
Wow.
I mean, Luis Castillo, he's had Jekyll and Hyde type years.
I agree.
And you saw it last year. I mean, there were times where this guy could not throw a strike. And then when he was throwing a strike, it was down the middle of the plate and guys were teeing off on it. I think Bale has better command of more pitches. And Castillo, obviously the changeup is amazing, but when you can't locate the changeup and the fastball, what are you, right? I think Bale can work around that.
Especially with the ability to have the confidence in the zone now with that sinker. I can't emphasize that enough.
Zone confidence is everything. It is everything.
And he didn't have it before, and he couldn't because it was fastball was getting crushed. And now, it's upper 90s with run, and that's really exciting. And I agree, zone confidence is everything. A guy that really, the whole question on him was zone confidence because we knew he would be all over the zone. It was just how much swing and miss was he going to get? We've talked about him, so we don't need to spend as much time on him. I am a huge fan of Andrew Abbott. And I know this is, like I said, when we talked about him last time, this is like Jack McMullen's, desired pitcher. I feel like 6 foot, 180 pitchability guy with 4 offerings that he can give you. He's awesome. He's really awesome. And what we've seen this year is incredible. He pitched his way out of high A real quick. Already has made his debut at double A. Not quite as strong in double through the first start, but okay. So your first start against a very good Tennessee Smokies team and Matt Mervis, who I think had 2 of the hits against him. But he was dynamite in high A. He'll get acclimated to double. The one question I do have is how good is the stuff to be able to get swings and misses at that higher level? But I just believe in this guy's ability to just get out, mix it up, and keep hitters uncomfortable. And he's been dynamite this year with what is a 1.23 ERA.
He's an upgraded Ryan Yarbrough, man. I mean, Yarbrough, like, he doesn't get swings and misses, but everything that people put in play is just soft as hell. Like, that's what Andrew Abbott is. He is a better version of Ryan Yarbrough when he gets to the bigs. And Abbott, 40 punch outs, 7 walks in 27 innings in high A. In double A, 2 starts, and you mentioned he got roughed up a little bit, so bat to ball was a problem. But listen, 9 2/3 innings, 13 punch outs, yet to walk a guy in double A. I'm totally here for that. I'm totally here.
Oh, I missed the first start. I missed his first start. So he got roughed up his last start. His first double A start, 5 2/3, 12 Ks, 3 hits, no walks.
There we go.
What?
Don't worry about him.
Yeah.
Don't worry about him. The beautiful thing about Abbott, you're right. That's my guy. 4-year guy at UVA. I'm all in.
That's the immediate selling point is 4-year college guy Jackson.
Oh, at a high academic school like Virginia too. Sign me up for that. But yeah, no, I mean, I think Abbott is one of those guys. He and his organization mate, Matt McLean, are very similar to me, where there is nothing to worry about with those guys. And you can dream on Williamson a lot more than you can dream on Abbott. You can dream on Ellie De La Cruz a lot more than you can dream on McLean. But, oh, man, for every Ellie De La Cruz you got, I want myself a Matt McLean. For every Williamson you got and every Hunter Green you got, I want a Lodolo and I want an Andrew Abbott.
I'm with you, man. And to your point of like the picture you just painted, the Reds are like, they're actually heating up a little bit at the big league level, but the team's disastrous right now. The farm system is turning into one of the best in baseball.
It's really good,
which is crazy because it wasn't that good that long ago. And I know they had to trade some good players to get there. I get it, but also developmentally, they're doing a great job. And draft wise, they're doing a great job. And there's a lot of things that are going in the right direction for the Reds. Quick, just kind of rundown on Abbott's arsenal: 92 to 94 on the fastball. But what I really like about it is the vertical break. It's got that life to it. I talked to one of my buddies who, again, he's going to be on the show soon enough, Mike Rothenberg, and he faced him. He just goes 92 to 94, but it doesn't matter. It's really tough to see, and it has a lot of life. And he said that their whole team, it was West Michigan, I guess it would have been at the time.
Yeah.
They were all going back to the dugout like, how's this guy getting us out? But he is. It's almost like that Nestor Cortez-esque type of just, he gets you out and you're like, damn, like I just can't find my comfort in the box. That's what Abbott does with the vertical break on the fastball, but then also the feel for a changeup, a good curveball, and then the mix in of a slider as well. He's got so many different looks he can give you, pounds of strike zone. He's the definition of pitchability.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's total pitchability. And I think this is a guy that it will have insane helium. He was a 2021 draft pick. So, he starts 2 games in rookie ball and then he goes to low A. Here we are, high A and double A in 2022. I think this is a guy that could be in triple A at the very least by the end of the year.
With you. Absolutely with you. And he might break camp by next year. Like that's how good he is and advanced he is. So should be fun to follow. A guy that I know you're really excited to follow because you got to see some firsthand looks at him. last year when he was in high A. Gavin Stone of the Dodgers organization. This is a dude that, you know, I really look at him and I'm like, he's going to be a quick riser, not only up through the minor leagues, but also through the prospect rankings. His fastball is really good, has really good profile to it. The slider's nasty and the changeup is really good as well. I mean, you saw this guy throw. He works quickly. He throws a lot of strikes. I want to hear, you know, why you love him so much, but obviously there's a lot to love.
Because he's a strike thrower, man. I mean, he got the call from low A to high A. Rancho Cucamonga, he started 17 games, 101 punch outs, 20 walks. That's a great ratio there of strikeouts to walks, right? You're looking at 505 there. When he got the call to high A as a 22-year-old last year, more than a year younger than the average pitcher at the high A level, Gavin Stone was striking out 7.5 guys for every 1 walk, 37 punch outs in 5 walks. Started this year with Great Lakes, started 6 games, 28 punch outs, 6 walks. Just made his AA debut with Tulsa, 5 innings, 8 punch outs, no walks.
The Dodgers let him go 5.
They let him go 5, and they never let people go.
I don't know
5.
if it was because he was throwing like 2 pitches an inning or something like that, but like they let him go 5. So
yeah,
this guy's special. This guy's really special, and probably a top 100 guy, right? I mean, by midseason, unless he falls on his face all of a sudden, he's probably a top 100 guy. The changeup,
yeah. I'm curious what you think of the stuff, because I don't think the stuff is top 100 stuff, but I think the way that he uses the stuff.
That's fair. So I look at a guy pounding the strike zone, 23, good organization, low to mid 90s fastball plus changeup, average slider. If he's pitching to a low 2 ZRA in AA by mid-season, like I'm not saying for sure, but we're discussing him.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And that's crazy, because talk about another just embarrassment of riches on the pitching side. I think he's going to leapfrog some of these other guys that they have in the system, some of these other pitchers, the Clayton Beaters of the world, like even the Landon Knacks. I love Landon Knack. He might be able to even pass Landon Knack.
I like Stone a lot more than Beater.
Yeah,
I do.
Beater's a reliever in my opinion, and a good one. I'm lights out. Could be lights out, but he's a reliever.
I also just did a wellness check on Hyunil Choi, and it doesn't look like he's well. Just 3 innings so far this year. I wonder if Choi's hurt.
That's your guy. That's also
my guy. Oh, he's on the 7-day IL, it says. Brutal.
Well, hopefully he's okay.
Yeah.
Going into another guy that we put on our top 100. I think he rounded out. He was Mr. quote unquote irrelevant, but it's not irrelevant if you're on any spot of the top 100 list. I think he was our 100th ranked prospect, Ken Waldechuck. And I got a couple specific DMs, like, why would you put Ken Waldechuck in the top 100? I talk about his invisible, imagine the invisible I was talking about with Abbott, but harder. And from a guy that throws from a more deceptive arm angle, and that's 6'4". His fastball reminds me a little bit, like I've talked about, with Trevor Rogers, and it sets up his changeup extraordinarily well. It's about the command for Ken Waldechuck, but I see a plus changeup because of the way it plays off his fastball, and a plus heater, and a good enough breaking ball to mix in, from time to time. He really does remind me a bit of Trevor Rogers, man. I can't help but say it.
He's striking out 14.5 per 9 right now in AA.
I mean, that's insane. 41.5% of batters. Yes, he's walking 3, but that's the best clip of his career. So he's getting better and better in that regard. I'm in, like 1.26 ERA, 2.36 FIP. And again, his fastball, I implore people to go check out the write-up on him if you want to be a little bit more sold. But when the fastball has that riding life that you can't pick up out of his hand, and then he also has the changeup that you can't pick up, that it's the tunneling, right? Fastball riding up, changeup diving down, and you can't tell until it's 28 feet from home plate. You're screwed even if you're a lefty or a righty. It works against both-handed hitters. And the breaking ball, again, is good enough. And look at Trevor Rogers. The slider just needed to be good enough, and that's all he needed. I'm in on Ken Waldechuck. I think he could help the Yankees very soon. I think he's going to be really good middle of the rotation starter. Command's going to blow up from time to time. So he'll have the blow up outings, but he's going to have those outings where he goes 6 innings, 10 Ks, and shuts out a really good lineup. And it won't matter who's facing him.
Yeah, no, I think he's going to get to Scranton very quickly. Like, I think he should be in Scranton right now, and he should be, in that wait list, I guess, with Davey and Heel, but Heel's with the Yankees as it stands right now, right?
He just went down with an injury, I believe.
Did he?
I think got sent down and went down with an injury.
So, I mean, when the Yankees like inevitably hit pitching depth issues, like Ken Waldechuck should be one of those guys that's waiting in Scranton Wilkes-Barre, right, in AAA. So I think he's proven everything that he needs to prove in AA. He started 14 games with AA last year. He had a 4.2 ERA. Like you mentioned, the walks were rough, but he struck out 108 guys in 79 innings.
Yeah,
so like if he's shoving in AA right now, get him up to AAA and get him in that wait list.
Yeah, and one other thing I want to mention, the similarity to Trevor Rogers, reverse splits guy. So
Ooh.
I love that from a lefty, because if you want a lefty to be a starter, wouldn't you rather him be able to get righties out better than lefties?
Mm-hmm.
The fastball works good enough. We'll keep lefties in check, but reverse splits guy, because of the fastball changeup, very similar to T-Raw with the Marlins. So we'll go into a couple more. We got 2 more pitchers to run down real quick. And one is my favorite, one of my favorite arms out there. We just left him off the top 100 list, kind of kicking myself for it, to be honest. But I love Gavin Williams. He has been phenomenal. Really, it was track record and a lack thereof for Gavin Williams that left him off the top 100. Because remember, this was a guy that at ECU that was a reliever until the final year of his collegiate career. Command had never really been there. Until that last year, and then he dominated, and he pitched his way into being the 23rd overall selection by one of the best organizations at identifying and developing pitching. He's 6'6", 240, and dude, the fastball is electric. The stuff is electric, and the command ain't so bad out of the gate, Jack. He's walking about just under 3 per 9 through 30 innings at the high A level. I'll take that. I mean, if you like percentages, 8.9% walk rate, 40.2% K rate. I'll take that out of the gate from Gavin Williams.
He has faced 112 hitters so far in 6 starts. How many home runs has he allowed?
I don't think he's allowed 1, right?
0. He's allowed 0 home runs. 112 hitters. How many have gotten a hit?
112 hitters. How many have gotten a hit? I feel like it's the walks really where he gets the run. 112 hitters. I'm going to say 15 hits.
13 hits.
Oh.
30 in the 3rd innings, 13 hits against him. Wow. No homers.
He's got to be ready for double soon, right?
He has to be.
Make that Akron Rubber Ducks lineup just off the charts, or not lineup, but just roster.
No, I got to check out that rotation. If Gavin Williams joins the Akron Rubber Ducks, I mean, that's going to be the most disgusting starting rotation of minor league baseball.
I'm so in. I love that. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so that would be Logan Allen, Tanner Burns, Xavier Curry, Daniel frickin' Espino. And then you could add Gavin Williams, but then you've also got Joey Cantillo on that team. You've got Hunter Gaddis on that team.
Could you imagine having a 6-game stretch? A 6-game stretch with that against Akron? I think I'd rather sit out.
And another guy who I kind of liked, who was with Fort Wayne last year, Eric Sabrowski, was picked up by Cleveland. Sabrowski is a guy that has a hammer of a breaking ball as a lefty. I mean, like, that pitching staff is nuts. It's nuts.
And honestly, man, like, I don't think anyone is quite on the Espino level of stuff, because we've talked about how I think he could be the top pitching prospect in baseball once Gerard graduates. But Gavin Williams is not far off. I mean, we're talking about a fastball with 96 to 98 mile per hour, like sitting there, touching 100. He touched 100 in college. Crazy life, a lot of break to it, horizontal break to it as well. Slider is a sweeper. Curveball breaks almost too much. It's hard to locate for him at this point. I think that's part of the reason why he walks guys from time to time. And a changeup that he's already shown comfort of mixing in there. He's got some of the best raw stuff in the minor leagues, and he's honing it much better than I think anybody thought he would. Another guy, I'm broken record here, but he's got to be. I will tell you now, I'm putting him on the top 100 unless he hits some crazy wall.
No, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. And what I love is he's a big boy, right? He's got that massive frame. And I think massive frame guys that have a pitch mix and that can pound the strike zone when they're on are fool's gold. I think that's great.
Isn't fool's gold a bad thing?
No.
I thought fool's gold is like, you thought you got real gold and you got the fake gold.
No, I think isn't it when you just luck yourself into something?
Is that it? I mean, dude, you're way better with these kind of like sayings and stuff than I am. So I'm not trying to dunk on you. That was pure curiosity.
Oh no, you're right. That can be mistaken for gold. A brassy yellow mineral that can be mistaken for gold.
So you just don't want Gavin Williams to be good, man.
I'm just an idiot. I'm a doofus idiot bozo.
No, you're usually money on those kinds of like what would that be called? What is that? A
cliche.
Cliche. Yeah, you're usually money on the cliches.
Yeah, totally.
Not today.
Not today.
So two more. We got actually one more. So last guy. Yep. And he's probably the guy that Jack, I would assume you know the least about because I had to do a recent dive on this guy. I would actually be shocked if you knew much on this guy. And I didn't even prepare you to let you know that I was going to mention him. Ricky Tiedemann. So I'll let you pull up the Fangraphs page because I wouldn't expect you to know Ricky Tiedemann. I'm going to describe Ricky Tiedemann to you, and then you're going to tell me how this sounds. Okay. So you have the numbers in front of you, which I'm sure are nuts. And actually, I realize I'm going to have to name one more player after this because even though he's a first-round pick, I'm going to consider him underrated because he's not on very many top 100 lists. But first, let's get to Ricky Tiedemann of the Blue Jays organization, left-handed pitching prospect. You have it in front of you. When was he drafted again?
2021. Okay. Third round 2021 at a Golden West College in Huntington Beach, California.
Whatever the hell that is. So the pride of Golden West College, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. 95 to 97 on the fastball, 2,400 RPMs, with 17 inches of horizontal movement.
Jesus.
Slider is 81 to 83, 2,700 RPMs, 13 inches of horizontal movement, only 3 inches of vertical movement. Changeup. This is the nastiest pitch. 85 to 87 with 18.3 inches of horizontal movement. I would honestly like to see him have a four-seamer that's just straight, because everything right now is horizontal off the charts. And I think if he could mix in a little bit more of a straight line fastball, he'd be in great shape. But I don't even have the numbers in front of me. Tell me with that arsenal from a 6'4", 220-pound 19-year-old, what is that developed into numbers-wise? Because I don't have his numbers in front of me.
1.8 ERA through 6 starts, 30 innings, 11 hits, 49 punch-outs, 13 walks. 30 innings, 49 punch-outs. 14 and a half strikeouts per 9, a little under 4 walks per 9. But I mean, dude, 110 hitters faced, 49 punch outs. It's like 40%.
This is a diamond in the rough that they just found. The Blue Jays just found this guy. He's nasty.
Here's what I'm going to tell you about the changeup, though. These West Coast changeups, these California changeups. I learned this from Chris Murphy, who's in the Red Sox system, who's got that nasty changeup, which I'm sure you've seen. Mm-hmm. I said, how do you do that? It looks like blitz ball. And he said, honestly, dude, it's just a West Coast thing. Like, everybody asks me how I do this, but everybody's changeup on the West Coast growing up moves like this. It's got this horizontal movement. Like, I don't really understand how it works. It's like this circle change on steroids. I don't get it.
That's insane. I've never heard that. That's pretty funny, though.
West Coast changeup.
One more name I want to highlight real quick. Because it's stupid what he's doing. He's a South Florida guy, went to my rival high school, Andrew Painter. You know, it's kind of hard to call him underrated given that he was a first round pick, but 6'7", 215 pounds. He's 19 years old. I know Andrew Painter's numbers. I don't know if you know them. So I want you to pull up Andrew Painter's numbers. Admittedly, he's walking some guys, but this is a 19-year-old who's 6'7" in low A. I want your organic reaction to his numbers, because I'm very excited to see your organic reaction. And then I'll tell you what his stuff looks like.
I knew how good his numbers were already.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you? I took a peek?
No, I knew because he had this insane start to the year.
Yeah.
And then he just hasn't tapered off. 6 starts, a 1.14 ERA. That means 3 earned runs in 23 2/3 innings.
Dude,
of the 91 hitters that he's faced. 47 punch outs. Is that a 55% K rate?
Yeah. I assumed you didn't see the numbers because he doesn't usually qualify yet innings wise when you look on Fangraphs. I missed him for a while through like the first 5 or 4 starts. It wasn't until like his 5th start where I looked. I think he was 20 innings in or something like that and had, no earned runs or something close to that and was striking out everybody. And I was like, holy crap. So I went and did the dive. Dude, he's disgusting. He is utterly disgusting. He's sitting 97 to 99, touching 101, a slider in the mid 80s that is nasty with tons of horizontal break, a gross curveball as well. He's mixed in a changeup, but I have never seen a fastball with this much vertical break at that speed. 20 inches at times, 21 inches on some fastballs of vertical break. And what that means is it's the opposite. Like it's not diving down. It's staying up on a line. The more vertical break, the more of that perceived rising action you have. That's up there with anybody in the big leagues fastball wise. Like that's DeGrom-esque in terms of vertical break, which is crazy to say. Obviously he doesn't have the command of it, but this is a guy that could be one of the nastiest pitchers in the minor leagues very soon. He's 6'7", 215, may I remind you, at 19 years old. And you know what? The command could be worse. I would have thought it would be a little bit worse, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I didn't know much about Painter coming out of high school. But I mean, the Phillies, it feels like they have just struck gold, and not fool's gold.
Not like fool's gold, the real kind.
The real gold with Mick Abel and with this guy, Andy Painter.
100%. And I'll end it with this. Out of all the guys we mentioned, we also have to, out of all the guys we mentioned and we've talked about, which would you don't know the card prices. I have them in front of me. If you're going on eBay, which are you investing in out of these guys? And then obviously price matters, but I want the price bias to be eliminated. We're looking at the position players first, because most people don't like investing in pitchers. I still think we just talked about it on Cardboard Consultants, actually, which is our YouTube baseball card show. I still think there's money to be made on pitchers, and Brian Bello is in the new 2022 Bowman baseball set that you can go get right now. It just came out. But out of Casey Schmidt, Gerard and Carnacion, Estoy Ruiz, and Mason Martin and Cal Mitchell, which card would you be purchasing?
I would probably be going with Estoy Ruiz, just because he could be a stolen base leader and he could, hit 15 bombs. I think this is the kind of guy with Mondesi level stolen base number possibilities where, he's just going to be a threat to go. And I think Mondesi, if Adalberto Mondesi was healthy and he hasn't gotten hurt throughout the entirety of his career, I think we're looking at this guy as a card that's worth a fortune, because he's climbing up the stolen base leaderboards very, very quickly. And I think that's what Estoy Ruiz could be.
What do you think his ceiling is? It's almost like unimaginable, right?
I guess it's a healthy Mondesi with more power.
That's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Guess what his Bowman Chrome Auto is right now on eBay?
What?
I'm looking at the most recent sale as of yesterday. $38.
Oh my God.
I will confirm to buy them. And I know I say this a lot. Trust me, I'm spending a lot of money. I'm buying it because I pulled a Brian Acuna, who we can't even speak about because I don't even know what his swing looks like. I don't even know anything about him. He's 16.
Stats?
No, of course not. I don't even know if he's come stateside. He's 16 years old. I pulled his card in the most recent 2022 Bowman autograph out of 100. You know what the comp is for it? And I'm not trying to flex and say, I just made this money because I've spent way more. But the point is I'm going to sell this card. It's for sale right now. And I'm going to use a lot of that money to buy Estoy Ruiz, to buy some of these other prospects that we're talking about all the time on here. What do you think the comp is for an out of 100 Brian Acuna Bowman Chrome Auto, the most recent sale on that?
Well, before I get into that, I just want to say that Brian Acuna's MILB.com page says Brian Acuna does not have any stats yet because he was born August 11th, 2005 in Manchester, New Hampshire. He's the brother of Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yes.
That's all the information I have on him. He's 6'176".
For our YouTube friends, I'm holding up the card right now.
Brian Acuna.
What do you think? What do you think it's the most recent sale was?
Out
of 100, auto.
$800.
1.3. $1,300.
$1,300. 1.3 makes it sound like million. $1.3 million.
I wish that does.
1,300.
See, but here's the thing: millions don't even compute in my mind. I don't know what that looks like. So anything what is thousands, right? That's what we're hoping to make around here.
But 1,300.
So my point is this: when we're talking about eBay investments and stuff like that, give me 30 Estoy Ruizes, than the 16-year-old who has the same last name as a guy that's really good in the big league level. Brian Acuna could be great, but he's far off. I would rather have Estoy Ruiz, who I'd argue has just as much upside, just doesn't have, the name.
What's the upside of Brian Acuna? We have no idea.
No idea. I have not a clue. Colt Keith or Casey Schmidt?
Casey Schmidt.
Colt Keith is $26 for his Bowman Chrome Auto right now, which I think is still a buy because these are all guys that are raking right now. Casey Schmidt is even cheaper, $15 for his Bowman Chrome Auto. And here's the thing. I don't think Casey Schmidt's going to be a superstar, but he's a high probability big leaguer. And you're not going to find very many big leaguers that are $15 for their Bowman Chrome Auto that are like good big leaguers. And I think he could be a very solid big leaguer.
Yeah, no, I mean like that spikes to about $100 if he's a good big leaguer.
So on the pitching side, you have to find a pitcher that is going to legitimately be an ace if you're going to really, really make big return. So you got to take on the risk. And I think I know my answer here, although you could probably make it. Honestly, you can make a case for a few different guys. Gavin Williams. I'm not buying Andrew Abbott. I mean, it would be fun, I guess, if you want. If it's cheap, you'll probably make some money. But in terms of upside, who would you invest in? Gavin Williams, Andrew Painter, or Ricky Tiedemann?
Andrew Painter.
Andrew Painter?
But doubt in my mind, Andrew Painter.
Let's see what he's going for. eBay has Andy Painter at whoa. Why is he going for so much?
Because he's having an insane start to the year.
Yeah, Andy Painter ain't cheap. So, I mean, if you pull an Andy Painter, hold on to that bad boy. But yeah, like $50-$60 for a new pitcher is a lot. It's a lot. So that's a good pull. And one recently went for $142. What is happening here? That's big time.
How about it, man?
I love it. So if you pull Andy Painter, hold on to it. I would buy some Gavin Williams if I'm going to look at some pitchers, but probably don't want to spend too much on pitchers. Only guy I'm buying pitching wise is Gerard, and we got him right here. But
boom,
that's it. That'll do it for today's Friday episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you take the time to leave a rating, that would help us immensely. Check out the Brian Bella piece, link in the description. Also, download the Loop app, link in the description. If you download that app, you get a $20 credit to try to pull some of these cards that we just talked about. Loop 24/7 breaks on the app literally at your fingertips. Or you can also just go on eBay and go buy the cards that way too. If you don't want to try your luck, but a free $20 credit for downloading the link in our description, why not? And then when you pull something great, you can go sell it on eBay and make free money. But that'll do it for me. Jack, any final thoughts before you and I are going to see each other very soon on the road through the South?
Yeah, I don't think so, man. You're going to be stunned when I pop out of the car and I'm like 4'10".
I know you already, bro. Met you in college. You can't do that. You can't pull that one on me. Has been a while since I've seen you. Very excited to do this road trip, and we'll have the coverage all the way. It's going to be really fun. Join us along on Twitter and YouTube and on here, and we'll have a lot of interviews and a lot of fun content. So we will talk to you from all over the South.